me for a little talk time here. They were, super grateful to do that. But I wanted to take a Thursday night because this is typically when you'd be up for worship practice. On a normal Thursday, what time do you get up to the warehouse?
I usually get there at 4:30.
I get there at 3.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you're doing before the band gets there?
Good.
All the fun stuff. Printing music, rapping chords.
Fighting the printer with the music?
Bro, more so fighting the computer.
Double checking keys.
It's true.
Yes.
Double checking our little transitions before everyone gets there and it gets more chaotic.
Resetting the
Tempos.
stage sometimes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Stage is always a mess.
Yeah. Depending on who's practicing first, like Saturday or Sunday, we'll have to set it up different.
Right, so, and that's a thing, because that varies from week to week, kind of based on which teams,
Go first.
what people are on
Yeah.
for that week.
Says hi, Elisha's on.
So,
Elisha, what's up?
shout out. So we are,
Dude, I love that guy. I do.
so literally,
That's
shout it
genuine.
out. So, that's kind of an interesting dynamic in that
Yes.
we don't have the same teams that are on every week.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
rotate through, so you guys don't lead every song vocally or instrumentally, but we have different teams that are on. We have some teams that are set Saturday teams, some teams that are set Sunday teams, but then we have people
Overlapping.
that overlap.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
So how many people are on the worship team?
50. We have 50 musicians that we usually can get them on in a month, so that we have quite the rotation.
Right.
It's a little bit of a juggle act, but we make it work, and everyone's pretty cool about getting their dates ahead of time to let us know, if they can play or not play, so that we usually don't have too much like last minute adjustments, which is good because keeps stress low and fun high, which is how I like it.
Always helpful. So I was thinking about, I guess somewhat like how I grew up in a pastor's home. And so music has just always been a part of my upbringing. And all of us were me and my siblings, my siblings and I think
Yes.
that's grammatically correct. My siblings and I were all required to play an instrument through high school. I played clarinet, and I had to play in the orchestra because that's what we had at church. We had an orchestra and a choir. And so I played through high school. And so we carried on that tradition when we had our children and said that you all had to play an instrument.
I did not get clarinet though.
You did
Right.
not pick up clarinet, no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone did any kind of orchestral instrument.
No, because we all have breathing problems. So
Maybe why I had
it
issues
served
with
us
it.
better to do.
I was not a great clarinetist, let's be
So
honest.
I'm glad because
I don't have the
we
lung
don't have to worry about that.
capacity for that.
Yeah, we don't. Like,
Susan Donovan says hey, and Marisa says
Bro.
she played the flute in the orchestra.
Oh shoot.
In that orchestra.
In
In
that
orchestra,
specific one.
yes.
Yeah.
We
so
So
we stayed with more hands-on, like piano, guitar, drums.
yes.
That's more up our alley, I would say.
Did you always appreciate the fact that you were made to play an instrument?
No, I hated it. It took away from baseball.
It's true.
I didn't
So-
mind it though.
You didn't mind piano?
Yeah, and let's
Yeah.
clarify. I love Nani. Nani's the one that taught us all piano. Like, I love Nani.
Nani.
And I love my time with Nani. But I tried as much as I could to not worry about what we were actually supposed to be learning that day. And like, let's just have awesome conversations instead. That was my goal.
Right.
Because, yeah, your boy didn't practice. Almost ever.
No,
So-
and that
Right.
sort of played out once you got to college and had to pass piano proficiency, which should have been no problem.
No, but it was fun. We got there. And now I love playing piano.
I know.
It's been
The
re-energized
irony.
within me.
The
For sure.
irony.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you started singing with your cousins young. I mean, we were doing
King's Kids.
Well, first you did music with Nani
Right.
when you were
Yes.
in preschool. Like we were always like with the cousins singing, and then you did King's Kids, which was a little more
That's when Laura took
vocal
us
training.
to the next level.
Yeah, that was like more legit, like vocal training, and then you carried on with voice lessons in high school, and that's where you took some theory while you were in high school.
More individualized
Lessons,
time,
yeah. Yeah.
Because, dude, being a guy and going through puberty and still needing to sing is like the worst.
Dude. That was the thing that
So-
like Laura like drilled into us was like as a guy going through puberty, it was like she made us sing through the whole voice transition, which
That
was
rough.
embarrassing at times.
Dude, plenty
but-
of voice cracks.
Yeah, and very frustrating. I don't know if like anybody else can relate to that, but it's like very frustrating to have your like range constantly shifting from day to day. But it was definitely the move.
Yeah, she definitely added the, well, obviously professionalism, but I think even the love for music through tough times.
And how to like pick worship sets. Like that's where we started to learn how to do that. And, you know, how do you pick songs to fit with a theme of like a sermon or a series? How to pick songs that can transition to each other, picking correct keys and balancing, you know, congregational abilities to be able to, you know, make it pretty comfortable for them so they can participate, but also do it in a key that allows us to like sing it in our voice range. So
I was going to say, I don't
it's
think
quite the
that that's
balancing
probably
act
something a
sometimes.
lot of people know. Like, songs can be written for female leads. And so.
or vice
then,
versa.
Right. And so then you're trying to figure out what does that look like with a
Yeah,
congregation.
we're doing one tonight. "Flood the Earth" is originally sung by a woman. Micah and I are not going to be
do our
singing
best
that in the
impersonation.
woman key. So like figuring out how to do that in a way that still allows a woman to sing with it is the most challenging part.
So, wow.
Excuse
We
me.
won't talk about this exercising thing is not working out for me. It's creating a lot of breathing issues for me as well. If you guys have questions, that's what I kind of wanted to open with here now is for you to be able.
Hewitt's watching. Katie Brundage is watching.
Dude, Pat, what's up?
Love you all.
I'm just going through these. I don't even care.
So we're going to keep talking about a couple of things while we wait to hear what maybe you guys have some specific questions about worship and all that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about when you guys started leading in youth group. I was really hoping to find some pictures or video to be able to play. I don't know if you want to try to describe what that first Wednesday night was like. Jeremiah, you were in 6th grade, correct?
No.
And you were in
no,
8th grade?
7th grade.
I was in
7th grade? Okay.
I was
And
in freshman.
freshman. And you guys, we asked you to try to lead worship.
Asked.
Okay, voluntold. And so you kind of been working, obviously, with Laura at this point too, like where you were trying to figure out what some of that looked like. But can you try to paint a picture about what that
Oh, yeah.
felt like for you, but also what it may have looked like for everyone else?
Terror, I would say, number one emotion in the room.
And everyone knew.
Everyone knew. Oh my God, so many heads just like down, microphones
They're
being
asking-
held.
So the first question,
down.
how old are we?
Ooh.
21. I'm 21. Mike
And I'm
is-
23. Yes.
Yes.
Jeremiah's in college. I am not. I finished.
We finished. Woohoo!
Yes.
We won't do the
Oh,
math.
thank
to
you,
figure out.
Thank you, Susan.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You-
Yeah, we're a little
She
delayed.
said, no, she said,
Yeah.
she said our
She
ages.
answered it for
Oh,
us
yeah.
because we were a little slow on reading the question. So, yeah, 21 and 23, and you've been at this a while. So, because again, going back to like me growing up at church, the experience that I had with worship, my sister led a lot, and so we told stories through music. So worship wasn't just a portion of the service; it was the service. It was integrated. It was meshed into all that we did. And so that kind of fed into this. So when we asked you to lead students, in worship at what 12, 13 years old.
Well, and that's the other thing. It's like being 14 and needing to lead, like that's one thing, but then also leading your peers is like the like most
Terrifying.
nerve-wracking and like uncomfortable.
And your voice,
Position.
like you're not, vocally strong at that age, and then there's not a lot of guys that were singing with you at that time, so it felt like there was some of that. You definitely stared at the floor a
Well,
lot.
and like we were,
Some
especially at the youth
shaking.
group, we had no culture of worship at that time. Like
We
in
were
the youth
watching
group.
YouTube videos.
You know, because
up
we grew
until
up
that
like
point.
when Second Place was started, we've always had good music on the weekend, and the worship was always been very intentional and like core to who we are. But the youth, for the longest time, there really wasn't anything.
There's nothing to go off.
Yeah, so like we were starting from scratch too. Of like it wasn't normal to at the end of youth go and do a set and sing together. Like that wasn't there. So there was a lot of like literally just trying things and seeing if it worked. And you know, over time people started to actually like sing with us and
Which
not
was
just like
helpful.
stare at us like we're like, you know, screaming like a donkey or something. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but it, you know,
So obviously we'd been in church before we started the church with you two, but you were 9, I think, when we started.
I was in 7th grade, Mom.
Well, we left, but when we started Second Place.
Yes.
So when we were in our house,
I was 13,
I was 10.
12,
10 years ago.
12.
no, but we were in
11
our
years
house
ago.
before that. Like it was 12. Yeah. So anyway, there was a little experience with that, but when we decided to put worship at the end of the service, we started Second Place. Like we were kind of going back and forth. Do we open with worship? We would kind of didn't want it predictable, and so I know it's hard to believe, but so we would kind of change up how
Oh
we
my
would
goodness,
do it.
Jessica Sylvie.
Oh my goodness!
I haven't heard that name forever.
Yes,
It's
that's
so good to
awesome.
hear from
Hi.
you.
Hi, Jessica.
She said she loved Wednesday nights with us. When we were in
Dude,
youth group.
she
God
was there
bless.
for the beginning, man.
throwback. I love it.
She-
I love it.
she-
I love that.
She saw the uncomfortable swaying, and you know,
She-
it was a
she
bit
knows.
tense. She knows it was a bit tense, but we ended up settling on the music at the end. Do you want to talk about kind of how that plays out and why we do that?
Well, that wasn't our decision. That was kind of.
No, I
like
know. Yeah, you
that
guys
was-
didn't make that decision, but you kind of decided
Yeah,
once
well, we
'cause
adopted it. We stole it.
you stole it
for
for Wednesdays.
Yeah. So, I mean, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the main reasons why we decided that keeping most of our worship at the end for weekends and Wednesdays is because it gives us a time to reflect on the message that we heard, and to really, I think the words jump out a little bit different on a consistent basis because of putting our music at the end of the service. And so when we pick songs that go with the message and the theme and all that, you really get to claim things. So, you know, you'll notice that, you know, we'll structure songs that talk about our relationship from us to God or from God to us. And then, you know, there might be times where we're singing about bringing what we learned out into the world. And so I think there's a lot of empowerment and encouragement that can come from doing music at the end rather than at the beginning where you're coming in cold. And if you're like a parent, you just had your kid throw up on you and you're not
happened.
ready to like go sing How Great Is Our God. But at the end, you know, after hearing a message and How Great Is Our God, you know, automatically now it has a little bit different tone to it, and you have something to apply it to right then and there. And I think it's really been a powerful tool to kind of go a little bit different than a lot of churches structure their service, and to put the worship at the end for the most part. It's something that I think it distinguishes us, but also has proved to be a really awesome way for people to encounter God and to worship Him.
Yeah. So through college, you had the privilege of being able to travel.
Couple comments about the worshiping at the end being
Oh.
one of the favorite parts of Second Place.
Totally. Also,
Agree.
Eric's on here and he's always playing. He's the one that's always like rocking out. So, Eric, I'm glad you're here
Eric guitar,
with us in
as
spirit.
Alex would say.
Yes. We wish you were here playing.
I hear your licks right now. I hear them.
We wish you were here playing right now. So you were able to play at churches that were typically small churches, which I guess we
you
qualify as.
transitioning?
Well, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it was like then to be kind of in a traditional setting as far
Yeah.
as music kind of at the front end and all of that kind of stuff. So you've had some exposure outside of Second Place. This isn't the only place that you've played worship.
Right.
So you have a little more experience than just that. I don't know.
Right. So in college, I was able to travel and lead worship at several churches. And so obviously you're not going to just throw this wicked change to their whole flow of service when you're there for 1 week. So definitely got used to that, like, you know, you're playing 3 or 4 songs at the beginning and, you know, people are showing up at the end of the set. They just got there, you know? And so it's like, well, thanks. I know you don't know me and I'm about done, but, you know.
It's
so
nice meeting you.
You know, because obviously there's probably something that's pretty normal is to do like a maybe like a response song or something like that. And so I think it's kind of similar to that, except we just do almost all of our music then, and I think it allows just for more time. And so when I would talk with pastors and worship pastors about how we would do it at Second Place, they were always super intrigued. And they said if I ever came back that I could do it. You know, like some churches were like, yeah, I'll try that out. And so, yeah, never got to do that. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely unique. And seeing different ways of worship has been a really helpful tool for me now, being at Second Place full time. You know, I'm able to pull from not just what I've grew up in at Second Place as far as leading worship, but also seeing how a church of 10 looks and their philosophy of worship and how to engage 20 people in a room that you never have met before and to still have to lead them in song is like kind of hard but you know it worked out.
Yeah.
So
Questions? Ask for more questions.
Yeah, if you all
Yeah.
have questions, you are welcome to
Dude,
type those in.
please, all the questions.
Micah is here reading and excited about it. So I was going to transition a little bit to the quality of our musicians. And especially with being a smaller church, it's not normal, maybe as a good word, to be able to have the Eric Ledays of the world on your team. Maybe I should quit talking. But to be able to see that we can have multiple teams, and what is it like to be able to choose a key? I know that when you would travel, sometimes they'd come with their papers all printed out with, you know, all of their keys, and then it was like, yeah, that's not going to work. We can't play that in that. Every instrument can't. Does that make sense? Like
No.
guitar and piano. I mean, it's like you're going, okay, well, they can't just
Yeah.
quick go. Oh,
Well,
wait, we need to
right.
change that key. That's not going to work for us.
And I think that's a testament of like the quality of musicians we have, like you said, at Second Place, and also it allows for a lot of learning to be had in practices, because you know you don't have to be a professional musician to join our team, but at the same time we do want to equip you to get better and to have some excellence with what you do, and so that's one of those ways that, you know, if somebody can't, you know, play in this key or whatever.
I saw blessings.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it. A blessing, I'm coming to you. Yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, so it's sometimes difficult. Blessing's question is, what is our least favorite part about leading worship?
Safe place?
Ending the set is my least favorite part about it. I just want to sing all day.
No, my voice can't take it. I don't know. It can be draining at times, especially just because Mike and I are on every week, in like the sense that we're cultivating a room of anywhere from like 100 to 150 people and like leading in worship, and there's like a responsibility that comes with that I think I feel a lot of the time, but then also coupling that with me just like wanting to give my all every single week isn't always possible with like my voice or just like my headspace. And I think that is probably like, I don't know if that's my least favorite part, but like sometimes the hardest part to like work through is like just figuring out how to keep a sustainable rhythm of worship.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your voice and what were the first doctor we went to probably when you were 16? Is that right? Yeah, because it was before your 16th birthday that you were going hoarse
Every time I sang.
frequently, and then it got to where it was just lasting longer and longer, and then kind of got to where your range got really small, and you weren't able to sing the way that you had been used to. And so we went and saw a doctor, and she said,
You need to figure out something else to do with your life because you're not going to be able to sing.
I'm pretty sure those were her exact words. I just don't understand why. Just do something else. Like become a
Didn't she say
lawyer.
about your throat looks like a
80-year-old
Like an
man.
80-year-old man, yeah. She said my throat looks like an 80-year-old man's throat.
Which your soul was okay with.
That's an
but
old
your,
throat. That's an old throat right there.
Yeah, so yeah, we left. She basically was just like, and I don't even know what we told her because I wasn't like planning on majoring in music or anything at that point or like becoming a professional musician. We were just like, I can't like lead
not
worship.
sing. Well, it
Yeah.
was like, it was more like, okay, this is what you do, and you've been blessed with a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
So I was devastated walking out of that doctor's appointment, like,
Yeah, you were
what?
a mess.
And you said, well, just go find a different doctor. She doesn't know what she's talking about. It was like that confident, and I was like,
Yeah, no, I never felt those words from her. I mean, like, we left and I was like, I don't know. It never like really got to me. I don't. It's not like I was like I just felt so like God really had it, but it was just like I don't know. Like I never. She never had any validity in my mind. I was like, I don't
do you
know.
know?
Like I know that there's. Like it's 20 it was what was it was like 2015 2016 I was like we got some kind of technology, some kind of something, we're gonna be fine.
somebody can fix this.
Yeah.
And I think that we had tried to convey as parents that what you did was not where your value was. So if you could never play an instrument another day of your life, if you could never sing another moment, that was not your value. Your value was in being a child of God. And so it was never this thing of, I have to do this or I don't have purpose.
Right.
But you really did not even believe her that you would not ever sing
No,
again.
because like
You were
I at the very least I would have just kept singing until I physically was unable to sing anymore. Like I just
which
loved
it was
singing.
getting to.
I was just losing my voice. every
Jeremiah
time
was
I
also
sang.
more of a, I would describe as a screamer.
Well, that was
Yeah.
because I had nodules. I don't know if we ever said that. I had nodules. That was the problem. And
We found a
in
good
or-
doctor.
Yeah, in order to get the sound out, I would just have to be like screaming essentially. So in order to
Yeah,
like
but
hit
you would yell
hit
a
an
lot as a
extra.
child.
So when
You
Oh
would
yeah,
yell a
sure.
lot.
When I was
Compared-
little.
Terry never knew this about you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terry?
good.
Now you know.
Dude.
So Jeremiah had surgery
Couldn't talk for
the December before your No, after your 16th
before
birthday. Yeah.
my-
So you turned 16. We had surgery. You had surgery in December.
You were really
Of that
feeling
year,
everything
dude.
that
It
was
was so.
happening.
You have no idea, like what that felt like as a mom to walk that through. I think more just even from the perspective of understanding, like promises and call and you know just all this kind of stuff. And so you could not speak
for 4 days.
for 4 days, and then it was like 5-minute increments that we added on. and you didn't sing again until February. And you were getting ready for
A worship night in April.
in April. So the goal was by February to be able to start singing
For practice.
to be ready to sing a full set in April. And it took,
And I don't think I sang a full set until the night of the worship night. I'd only
that's correct.
practiced like a song
Minutes,
or two at
yeah.
a time.
yeah. So it was pretty
We didn't really know
significant.
if it would come back.
No, doctor couldn't
Yeah.
guarantee, and it's hereditary, so it was not it wasn't because of poor singing or because of but you had to go through speech after
Speech therapy, yeah.
to learn how to sing differently. You've had to change some things,
How I
and you
talk.
do have to guard
Yeah.
how much. you
But
can sing.
my voice is way, way, way stronger than it was before. And like,
And your range increased.
I couldn't like sing in a head voice before I had surgery.
Head voice is like, if you
Yeah.
don't.
I just like, it's either like if I was not just like speaking, if I tried to go any higher, it would just be like air coming out. It was,
Yeah, kind of
Beautiful.
crazy.
All right, so there's a couple. Okay, Dave has a
This
lot
is-
of good
this,
questions.
This would be my eyes, like trying to.
I never
read here.
answered blessings truly.
Okay, would you like
but
to
it might
answer?
help us like start heading into worship time. So I can answer
did
some
you
of these
first-
other
yeah.
ones later. I don't know. It
Well,
sounds like we might have to have more time.
I was gonna say, where are we at time wise? I have no idea
It's-
what time it is.
It's 7:40.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to
Um,
answer like a couple here? Or,
No.
like, are they not quick answers?
No. No,
Are they
not at
things
all.
that you can-
I
No.
I can talk about my
No.
my least favorite thing though,
Okay.
and I think it might help us get into like worship
Okay.
time. Huh?
Okay, go.
Yeah. So I think one of my least favorite parts is, rarely does this happen in second place, but I mean sometimes. But it's when what we call like the vibe of the room, and I think as a leader, if you've ever led worship music for like any like group of people, there's a kind of like a give and take, but it's a lot different than like a performance. It's not just, people don't just come to second place to hear us sing or play. It's like there's a community there that's wanting to worship God together. And especially when I traveled, I didn't get that a lot, where there wasn't this sense, like, not without even anybody saying anything,
Anticipation.
there wasn't like this excitement to be there. There wasn't an excitement to like sing to Jesus and to sing with each other. Like, I get amped that I get to sing with people. Like, that's something that like gets me excited. And so I think one of my least favorite things is when there's ever a situation where I'm asked to lead worship and that's not there. That they're either
The
there
desire
to,
for
yeah,
worship.
there's not a desire. And it's okay for, it's not like I'm always wanting to worship God. Like, that's not the case. But as far as leading goes, it makes it so easy for us to lead every Sunday because everyone wants to be there. And I think if you've never been there, you should come and check it out.
Not right now.
Not right now. There's no one there.
No one there.
But there's something intangible. It's hard to put into words. But when that is not there, when that desire is not there to genuinely just sing, that's hard. That's probably my least favorite part.
Well, and I think that's one of the like signature qualities about worship at second place is the like freedom in the room, where people not only are they like wanting to be there, but they are wanting to connect in a personal way. And I think that ties into doing it at the end as well. Like being able to like utilize our entire space and not be like confined to what like worship is supposed to be, but allowing people to like dance, like write things down on the floor, like find a place to be alone, like whatever they need to do. Worship is very individual, but like communal at the same time because everybody's doing it simultaneously and has that like desire to do it.
Intention, yeah. And I think that's what I was thinking about as we've been leading over, live the last couple weeks, and I think that's what's continuing, even though, we're not all physically together. It's more of our hearts being postured in a way to worship wherever we're at. So like on Sundays, you know, you'll see people coloring, you'll see people drawing on the ground with chalk, you'll see people dancing, you'll see people just standing there, but like, you know, just this absorbing the lyrics. And so there's like a million different ways to interact with this. And so that's still possible now. So even in your own homes, there's ways to interact in worship and have a posture of worship without even being with us. And so I think that's what I encourage you guys to do as we lead tonight, but also on the weekends is don't just have a cop out that you're not there with us. You know, you don't need to. You can, your heart's posture is it's movable. It's not just at church. It's in your home on your couch. You know, I was just playing on this couch earlier. You know, this is my basement. You know, so.
And if you've got any like ways that you've been like utilizing this, like I know Danielle said she just like pulled out her cajon and was just like playing along with us, stuff like that. Figuring out how you can personally interact with worship in this time is like super, super crucial, because it's not going to feel like a set at second place when we're all together, but there are still things that you can do, especially if you're with people like Mark Hortz. You have like a house full of people that can play piano and sing. Like you can be participating actively in this, not just sitting looking at us on a screen, but figuring out what you need to do with these things to continue pursuing God in these moments.
And even though you don't think that you can sing, and even if you don't think that you can play
Now's
an
the perfect
instrument,
time.
now's the perfect time.
Dude, no judgment. I won't even know.
Make a joyful
won't even know.
noise. And I think it's just really important that we recognize that there is something powerful that happens in the music that don't miss out on that just because you have something in your head about what that should sound like or look like or be like. But to really just internalize that and make that your own expression of worship. And so we'll go ahead and say, I'll move.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to sing with you.
Your joyful noise won't be
My joyful noise.
chiming in.
You need to.
One day, yeah, but for now, my joyful noise is going to at least move off to the side, and we'll
gonna
start
tune
singing.
it.
Yeah, tune it up, and we'll move.
Cool. So yeah, if you guys want to just find whatever posture is gonna work best for you guys in these moments. And so if you need to pace around your living room, if you need to kneel and just kind of listen, if you want to sing along,
Grab a journal.
write down, draw, all those things are encouraged. So let's do it.
Break down the walls, push back the dark light of the world, move in our hearts. There's a stirring in the spirit, heaven, something holy. Can you feel it, heaven? Let your glory and your power, let your majesty and worth flood the earth, flood the earth. Let the rumors of your kingdom, let your name without reserve flood the earth, flood the earth. Freedom is here.
majesty and word flood the earth, flood the earth. Let the rulers of your kingdom, let your name without reason flood the I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. I'm not here for blessing. And Jesus, you don't owe me anything, more than anything that you do. I just want you. I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just sing another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. Oh, I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough to take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. Oh, I'm caught up in your presence. Oh, I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessing. Jesus, you don't owe me anything, or more than anything that you do. I just want you. I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry I forgot that you're enough to take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. Lord, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry I just sang another song and take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just want never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessing. Oh, Jesus, you don't owe me anything, or more than anything that you deserve. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Oh, nothing else. Nothing else will do. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessing. And Jesus, you don't owe me anything, more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I just want you, and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you, and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you, and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you, and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything, more than anything that you can do. I just want you. my heart is weary, when my soul is weak, when it seems I can't traverse the trail before me, I survey the glory of your agony, and I find the will to fight for what's before me. 'Cause you ran the race, enduring for your glory. I fix my eyes on you, the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, the solace in your suffering is my strength. As I fight to follow, you're my righteous guide, and you train me to delight in all that's holy. Heal my broken body, cure my crooked stride, throw off every weight and sin that creeps so closely. I will run the race, enduring for your glory. I fix my eyes on you, the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, solace in your suffering is my strength. I fix my eyes on you, the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, the solace in your suffering is my strength. You help me breathe, you're the only life I need. You died for me, you're the only life I need. You help me breathe, you're the only life I need. You died for me, you're the only life I need. You help me breathe, you're the only life I need. You died for me, you're the only life I need. I fix my eyes on you, and the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, the solace in your suffering is my strength. I fix my eyes on you, the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, the solace in your suffering is my strength. You're the only life I need. You died for me. You're the only life I need. Lord, we thank you that our worship for you is not pigeonholed to one way, one right place. We thank you for your Holy Spirit that can connect us anywhere. We thank you that you have designed us to be able to follow and worship you in any situation, in any location. And so thank you for these reminders of that, like tonight, where we can come together, just have some fun, have conversations, and sing together, and lift our voices, even though we can't hear each other. Thank you that you can hear all of us as we're worshiping you and giving you the glory. And so just continue. May this just be a launch pad for our week to help us get us through, and just full of hope, Lord, for everything you have for us these remaining days. And we thank you for what you're going to do this weekend and in it through your word and your people. And we just give you all the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.